So last night, the Fig guys did have a stream, and they do have this show over there. I'll put a link in the description below for you guys to go check them out if you would like. But they do have guests on here and there, and they do a stream where they pretty much talk about WWE or wrestling action figures, and they have their own show over there. And I usually tend to, if I don't catch the live stream, I usually do go back and watch the full thing. And last night, they did have Magic and Steve from the Mattel design team on the stream, and it was an interesting show because in the background, this seems to be happening, and I don't know, again, it could be on purpose, you know, it would not shock me if some of these things were on purpose, as we saw just last week with Ringside Collectibles. They had the Sabu in the background, kind of that unsanctioned Sabu coming very soon, and we kind of talked about that, how that was leaked in the background, quote-unquote leaked in the background, but Mattel seemingly leaking this in the background here, and there's a couple different things to discuss about this, and we had some things confirmed. We're going to dive into all of it today, man. So on the live stream, as you can see in the background, Steve, he had his big collection behind him there. I think he's got these new shelves set up behind him. And so if you zoom in on the background, you'll see some different Mattel releases and things like that. But up at the top, it looks like we have the next Coliseum collection figures on display in the shelves right there. And I'm pretty sure I see Rey Fenix and Ricky Saints back there, if I'm not mistaken, in that little shelf underneath right there. I'll try to plug that in. But, you know, it's pretty hazy and blurry. It's not the greatest photos of all time. There may be more stuff back there if you guys can pause and kind of zoom in there. I don't know, but you can go back and watch it. But I think the screen grab is from Fig Heel. But if you see at the top, man, you have different Coliseum collections. You have Ted DiBiase and Ricky the Dragon Steamboat, Big Boss Man. You got the Ultimate Warrior and Honky Tonk. And then after that, it looks like I see Jesse Ventura and King Kong Bundy, if I'm not mistaken. And then next to them, we do have Demolition, it looks like. So we pretty much have confirmed that the next Coliseum collection will be Demolition. That's pretty big news. I know a lot of people wanted them in Ultimate form. I'm very interested to know if these guys are going to have updated formulas. We kind of speculated since they did sign a new deal. And this is, I mean, it kind of has me in my head here because, as we know, multiple people have been signing on new merch deals and things like that. But Demolition coming back, and I think it was a few months back, or maybe even a year ago now. I can't even remember, man. Time flies so fast. But Demolition did sign a merch deal that was kind of put out there, and then we got their Elite 123 figures and, you know, things like that. And there was heavy speculation that they would be getting their very own Ultimate Editions, and sure enough, it looks like it is all but confirmed at this point, and with WrestleMania about 16 days away, 2 weeks away, whatever the case is, I think we will see these figures on display at WrestleMania in the booth at WWE World, and I think that'll be pretty cool there. And of course, they're going to reveal a ton of other things, but Demolition Ultimate Editions I know are going to make a lot of people excited. Me, for one, it's not my necessary cup of tea, but I do like to report on it and talk about it on the channel for people that are really over the moon about this. Still a big deal. I think that these are huge. I know we did just get, again, their Elite figures not too long ago, but that is a huge update considering, you know, we went years without those guys getting updates, and we finally got their Elites. Now we're going to have them in Ultimate form. So for those Ultimate completists, I'm telling you, man, there are people out there, and they comment on this video all the time, that they don't even want and, you know, sometimes it's vice versa, but some people are out there, they want Ultimate Editions of everybody. They don't give a damn who it is, what it is. They want Ultimate Edition only, and so you have that side of the coin, and then there's people out there that think Elites are superior to Ultimate Editions, and honestly, man, I don't think I've ever completely been one way or the other, but here in the modern day, man, I think I'm more of an Elite over an Ultimate in certain ways, but I don't know, man. I'm kind of a sucker for the butterfly joints and added articulation, but regardless, there's another bit of information here that I think is even bigger, and I think that it's, honestly, it's speculation, Your Honor. I think it's speculation. We're going to discuss it right now. If you look under his armpit over there, over his shoulder, you will see a familiar face in Ultimate Edition packaging, and it is none other than the Macho Man Randy Savage. Now, if you look at this figure, everybody knows, if you were unaware, back in the Randy wave is what I like to call it, because in this specific Ultimate Edition wave, this is way back at WrestleMania 39 at WWE World, or at the, it was just a Superstore back then. There was no World where you had to pay $100 to go do reveal news. Yeah, I do that. I pay every day I go to World. I'm paying $100 or $200, whatever the hell the cost is, to get in there to cover these action figures. But you go in there, and it was that year in Los Angeles where we got to see the Randy wave of Ultimate Editions. This is the Randy Orton and the Macho Man, and everybody was excited. We thought we were going to be getting Macho Man Randy Savage in Ultimate Edition form. Him and Randy Orton were coming in the same Ultimate wave. This was also around the same time. We were getting Seth Rollins and Andre the Giant. Both of those were also on display at the Superstore, and I think the RVD Ultimate, there were some Ruthless Aggression Ultimates right there. I think Shreddy Guerrero was on display there. At that time, we thought we were eating... I think it was Shreddy Guerrero eating all that damn protein. But if you look here, man, I think that, people look at this screenshot and they see this Macho Man, they're like, oh, Macho Man's back. But I don't think that's what this is. I think that what we're looking at here with this Macho Man, I think this is just an unreleased in-package sample of that Macho Man. You got to think, man, when figures are released to the public, when we get those figures in hand, they have already received many, Mattel, I'm talking about Mattel. Mattel has already received many copies of these action figures leading up to their release, right? They got to confirm the prototypes and look at them and say, yeah, this is good, whatever. And I know that sounds asinine when we get some of the things that we get, but that is how the process works. They send them prototypes, samples, whatever, to take a look at, say this does or doesn't work. They have to pivot, whatever. It's part of the process. I think this is an unreleased prototype or an unreleased sample of that Macho Man, and it's mint on card right here in the collection. You can also see that there's 2 Andres. I'm pretty sure we only got 1 Andre. That's probably just a sample and then a final product probably right beside each other. Again, that's just speculation, but I don't think that this is an official Macho Man. I think this is the same Macho Man that was shown at WrestleMania 39 in the white and purple relative to that Defining Moments Elite back in the day, which would be a just tremendous Ultimate Edition. Now, I guess it's possible that Macho Man comes back. I think we did do a prediction and say that, you know what, we're going to predict this year that he comes back and we get some new action figures of Macho Man. And maybe that's the case. Maybe we do get to see him, maybe we get new figures of him at WrestleMania revealed to us. That'd be insane. I think people would be over the moon for that because it has been a little while now since we've gotten Macho Man. But I don't think that's what this is, man. Unfortunately, I think this is just going to be an unreleased sample that, Steve has in his collection, and it's a really sick piece. That's what I would guess. But you can see Andre there. I mean, that would be amazing to see, but I don't think that's the case. However, I hope it is the case. I hope that we see Macho Man return. I just don't think that this is what that is. I don't think this is confirmation that, we're getting Macho Man. I think it's, and I guess you could say, well, you're saying Demolition's coming, but not Macho Man. Well, Demolition, we've never known about a Demolition Ultimate Edition figure, and the Demolition is in Coliseum Collection packaging, and we don't know the next Coliseum Collection, so it kind of, I don't know, there's context clues there. Now, again, maybe Macho Man is under contract, maybe he's not, but this also has me kind of excited because, not too long ago we learned that the Hardys had signed new merch deals. They are a part of 2K. And, I mean, if they are 100% coming back, if the Hardys are getting figures, I would 100% expect to get some sort of Ultimate Edition 2-pack of those guys to go along with the Dudley Boys and the Usos and the Steiners from Ringside Collectibles. I would guarantee that would be the next Ringside Collectibles exclusive Ultimate Edition 2-pack. So if that happens, I think that's what we would see out of the Hardys, and I think it would be absolutely amazing. I mean, that would be oh my goodness gracious alive. I think people would lose their mind. Can you imagine Hardy Boys and Macho Man both returning to Mattel in the same year? I mean, my God, Earths would shatter, son. But, I mean, then imagine if Sting came back. I mean, my God. Might have to get a straight jacket on me, son. But anyways, I wanted to talk about that. And then also a lot of pre-orders went up for order yesterday, man. Lots of pre-orders over at Ringside Collectibles. If you guys want to go pre-order these figures. Now, honestly, it's weird, man. I kind of want to make a whole video on this because we're in a weird way right now where they're putting up these Ultimate Editions. We've already seen these Ultimates. These Ultimates that went up for pre-order, we've already seen. But Elite Series 127, we did discuss this in a news video yesterday if you want my speculation on this wave and this John Cena figure. But it was revealed early in the morning yesterday. I talked about how, John Cena was going to be a part of Elite 127. Then later that day, which was yesterday, they did go up for pre-order. You can't pre-order this full wave. It's all modern-day talent. I speculated that this is probably going to be Mania 41 John Cena. Maybe that's right. Maybe it's not. But it's come to a kind of a conclusion nowadays, man. You can't pre-order these figures, man. And honestly, you can't even pre-order them once you see the render. And you can, I guess, guesstimate. But, I mean, you pre-order that heel Cena, and it looks amazing on paper. Get it in hand, and not so much so. And same thing with the Randy Orton. It looks like it's one way. You can't even believe renders anymore. Same thing with Stephanie Vaquer, maybe, too. I mean, some people, some figures do turn out really good, but then there's those others that just don't quite make it to plastic form in full, fully processed factory form, and it's just not hitting the way that the render looks. So I'd be careful on your pre-orders, man, depending on what you like and what you want. Maybe it's an automatic lock for you. But I don't know. I think you just got to be very careful there. But the Ultimate Edition Series 32 set with Stone Cold, Jacob Fatu, and Jake Roberts also up for pre-order. And we've already seen these figures. We've talked about them. We don't have an official gallery. Again, I'd imagine Elite 126's gallery, which is the Roman Reigns WrestleMania 41 white gear, that entire set with Javon Evans. I imagine those images are going to be dropping hopefully this Friday, but I would like to see them drop very soon so we can get eyes on them. And I would imagine maybe Ultimate Edition Series 32 images would also be in there, but I could be wrong. We saw both of these sets at Toy Fair, mint on card in the packaging, so I'm just speculating, again, speculation, Your Honor, that we would see these guys in a final image gallery right before WrestleMania, and it may even be right after WrestleMania, but that's just what I would speculate on that. But yeah, lots of pre-orders went up. Retros, including Rhea Ripley, Great Muta, and Dominic. I think we saw those on a ringside live stream. You had the Defining Moments Uncle Howdy. I'd love to know how many numbers that's going to do, man. That is a figure that has been dunked on tremendously by many, many people. I'd like to know what you think there. You got Main Event Showdown 28 featuring CM Punk and Gunther, Ron Killings and John Cena, and then Braun Breaker and Roman Reigns. I'm interested to see what all those figures look like, of course. I think it'd be a pretty cool deal to see what those look like in terms of gear. And then you had Main Event Series 167, which is a pretty interesting lineup. You got Jacob Fatu, Asuka, Stone Cold, Gunther, and Goldberg. That's a pretty cool wave right there. So, I don't know, man. That's interesting. We'll have to monitor that, see what comes of that and everything. But if you guys missed our news video from yesterday, definitely go check that out as well. But I think that's pretty much going to wrap it up for us today, man. Thank you guys so very much for watching. Let's get into our random comment shout-out. And today's random comment shout-out is going to go to Crushel the Clown here. He says, Brad, we got 2 basics and the Elite from Superstore. We will not get Mania 41 Cena in the Elite or Ultimate line. That would be a massive fumble and L for Mattel if they do not make WrestleMania 41 John Cena. It's arguably the biggest accomplishment in the history of the sport. So I think not making that into an Elite or an Ultimate would be a massive L. Also, the Superstore figure was just a shirt, and a lot of people didn't even get that. So it makes no sense. Plus, those basics had a lot of issues with them. So it would be a massive L. But shout out to Crushel the Clown for the comment. I disagree with that comment. But anyways, I'm getting out. I'll see you guys next time. Have a blessed one.